Yeah, y'all gonna stop coming in my live talking about this Victor dude, bro. We hooping this year. Y'all gonna see.
Alright, team. Today we have a Spurs trade tier list. Now, this is who I think should be traded and who I think should be untouchable. Now that we are in the offseason, I think it's time to have some of these tough conversations. You know what I'm saying? There are some people that won't be on here, like Chris Paul, and that is because they are a free agent. So, technically, the Spurs do not have the rights to trade them unless they re sign with the Spurs. So, these are only the players that will be on the team for certain going into next season. As always, y'all be sure to leave y'all's list down below in the comments section. I always like reviewing and seeing what y'all have to say, and let me know what y'all agree and disagree with. I already know some of y'all are going to talk about Sohan, where I put Sohan at, or maybe y'all might even disagree with me with something else. Who knows? But y'all leave it down below in the comment section. Let's go ahead and jump straight into it. Alright, so starting with De'Aaron Fox. I know his face is a little messed up right here, but that's De'Aaron Fox. I don't know why it loads in like that. But of course, we have to put him in untouchable. We haven't even had like a whole 2 weeks with him and seeing what he can do with a healthy Spurs team. I think he's going to be a really good piece, and I think he will be on this team whenever we are a championship team. So I don't really need to elaborate on this too much. I mean, we haven't even seen him hoop for real. So for right now, he is untouchable. Next, we got Stephon Castle. Now, I know some of y'all might disagree with this. Y'all might want to put him in for the right price, but I am also going to put Stephon Castle in untouchable. And that is because he is still very young, and although we got a good sample size even at him being the first option, we don't know what his ceiling is entirely. I know some people have said like a Shea ceiling or like an all-star ceiling, but I want to see a more specific player comp. You know what I mean? Because more than likely he's not going to be Shea, but I would still like to gauge and see where he is going to be when he is in his prime until we think about trading him, in which I don't think the Spurs would even trade Stephon Castle right now, so he's untouchable. For Champagnie, I mean, I would want to put him in untouchable, but that's a very prestigious category to be in, and so I don't think he quite deserves to be an untouchable. But for sure, if you get the right price for Champagnie, he should be shipped off. And the only reason I say for the right price, that's not because he's going to be some all-star or nothing. He's only making $3 million for a premier role in this league. Everybody needs a 3-and-D specialist, and I know he can be inconsistent at sometimes. He's only 23. I know he looks older than that, but he's only 23 years old, and he's making $3 million for how much? Let's see. He's making $3 million for 2 more seasons, next season and the following season, which that's really good if you ask me. So he can only be traded for the right price. Now, Malachi Branham, I do think our boy Malachi Branham is cooked, and I don't think that he is necessarily a bad player. I just don't think he fits. You know, he needs to be in the pick and roll, having the ball a little bit more, and we used him as more of like a spot up shooter. Along with his defense, it's not that good. And then I was thinking about it the other day. I was thinking about whenever he had the Mr. Freeze thing, the burner account, and I just don't think he's a fit culture-wise as well as on the court. So he is cooked, unfortunately. I think we should trade him off so it could open up a spot for us, maybe a rookie, but then it could also get Malachi Branham in a situation where he may thrive, because I do think he is a real NBA player. I just don't think he will have a significant role on this Spurs team. Blake Wesley is a tough one. I mean, I don't think he really has any value, and that's not calling him a bad player. I just don't know which team would be like, oh, we need Blake Wesley. And so I don't really want to trade him at this point, but I mean, like if we were trying to make a trade and they're like, give us Blake Wesley, or this trade doesn't go through, then I'll ship him off. But I'm not actively looking to trade Blake Wesley, if that makes sense. Now, Wesley, I do think he can have a role on this team, just being like a spark plug off the bench. And I know spark plug is typically used for offensive guys, but I think he's more of a spark plug defensively. When he gets on the court, it's electric. He's going to get a few steals. He's going to take it to the rim and get a few layups, and he's going to apply that pressure. And opposing teams don't like that. He's going to pick you up full court, and he's not going to give you any room to breathe. And so I do think that Blake Wesley can be a part of this team in the future. And so if it's the right price, if he's holding up a trade, then you got to let him go. But personally, I would like to hold on to Blake Wesley a little bit longer. Next, we got Keldon Johnson. Now this one, I mean, do you want to gauge his value, or is it only for the right price? Now, I think you should gauge Keldon Johnson's value. I definitely think you should see what you can get for Keldon Johnson, but I don't think you just snap and take the first deal that someone gives you because because he is very valuable. I do think that it would be doing the Spurs a disservice to not gauge his value and see what you could possibly get on the market. But to me, and like to the Spurs, I do think he holds value. Like, I'm not one of the people who want to ship Keldon off just for a bag of Doritos. I like what he brings. I think he's finding his role a little bit more, and he has been kind of like Sohan, where his role is inconsistent. He used to be the star player for the Spurs back when we didn't have no one. Then when we got Wemby, he went to a starter, and he was trying to find his way with Wemby. And then he got demoted to the bench, and you saw him almost lead the league in points off the bench. So I think he can be an elite six-man. So with that being said, I think Keldon Johnson is good right here because I do think he has value and he could possibly get you something nice. But then he could also just stay on this team and be a part of it. But all in all, I like Keldon Johnson on this team. Charles Bassey, my boy. I mean, we've talked about it a little bit in past videos. I like you, Charles Bassey, but it's very frustrating whenever he can't put a series of games together without getting injured. And I know that's not his fault. I know he does not want to be injured. It's just unfortunate circumstances cause us to have to look for a more reliable backup center because our star is Wemby and we need a serviceable backup to give Wemby competent rest. And so there's nothing against Charles Bassey. I think he is a good player. It's just if he were able to stay healthy, maybe he could be the backup center. But in this world, we're going to have to let him go. I don't even think he would have that much trade value, but we would have to like release him or something. But yes, in this case, he is cooked, unfortunately. All right, so now we're getting down to some very important players. We got Sohan. Y'all know Wemby's going in untouchable. Do I even got to say anything? Like, come on, man. But y'all might want to lock in for these three because these are some very important players. Y'all let me know what y'all think. They could be very conflicting as well. I want to see what y'all have to say about these three players, but we're going to start off with Jeremy Sohan. I got him in for the right price. Now, he is borderline untouchable for me. I don't know what you would give up for him. Maybe like the first pick or Giannis, something of very high value. Now, I'm not talking Sohan for Cam Johnson. I know some people will be willing to give up Sohan for like a Cam Johnson because if you do get that really good package and they want Sohan, I would be willing to do it, but it's gonna hurt my heart. Like for me to put Sohan right here, he is borderline untouchable, but I just know that's not realistic because I would give Sohan away for the first pick if I'm being quite honest. But like I said, I would not give Sohan away for just another role player. And I know that's what Sohan is. I'm not calling him a star, but I just think he's so vital to what the Spurs are building. And me personally, I value his defense. I value his off-ball movement, his cutting, the way he can find open space in the floor, him at the dunker spot, him as a roller. Those are all things that I value. And so I would not be willing to give that away for a Cam Johnson or just another shooter in the league. And so that is my take on it. I know y'all are going to have some very different takes because Sohan is conflicting. It's because his stuff don't show up on the box score and his three-point shooting is a little shaky at times, but I value what he does. So he's going for the right price, but he's borderline untouchable. Now, Devin Vassell. With Devin Vassell, I really do like him as a player, but sometimes I feel like the concept of Devin Vassell is better than the actual Devin Vassell that we are getting on a season-to-season basis. Now, I might just be having a little bit of recency bias because if he was having the season from like 2 years ago, man, I would be excited about him. This down year really hurt, and that's what I'm marking it up as, a down season, but I'm just hoping he can get back to the season we saw from 2 years ago. But I'm going to have to put him at gauge value because if he doesn't return to that Devin Vassell that we once saw, I think he would have really high value and he could get you something that is really good. But that is only if he doesn't return and we're still seeing the inconsistent Devin Vassell that we got last season. Because for us to make a run next season, we need Devin Vassell to be at the best of his abilities. And he's a really good player when he's on. And for him to be like our third or fourth scoring option, I think that would be elite on this team. And then you got Keldon off the bench, Steph Castle. That's a playoff team. That's a crazy playoff team. But I do want the Spurs to check in and see what they can get for Devin Vassell. Again, this doesn't mean you just trade him for a bag of Doritos. But if y'all feel what I'm saying, you got to see what you can get on the market for a Devin Vassell. Harrison Barnes. Harrison Barnes is the perfect vet for this team. Did I say vet? Vet for this team. He provides shooting. I mean, he's not a liability on defense, and he's not a high usage player. He doesn't need the ball to get it where he can. You give him a grenade, he's going to do a little sidestep and bang it off the backboard 100% from the corners. Shout out Sean Elliott. And so I would like to keep Harrison Barnes, but if it's for the right price, again, we got to let him go because he's not a core piece. But I do like what he provides, and so I would say for the right price. With all that being said, Y'all let me know what y'all think of my list. I think this is pretty good, honestly. I don't think I missed. Y'all let me know down below in the comment section. I know one of y'all is going to disagree with something because everybody has their different perspectives and things that they value. And so I respect that. But again, let me know what y'all think down below. Leave a like as always and subscribe to Spurs Spotlight. Until then, it has been your boy Chris and I will catch y'all later. I'm out.